What's up, my people? You can tell we're getting payouts because I finally bought a new microphone holder. I don't have to hold it here all the time now. But jokes aside, we're going to get into this supply and demand video. I say this a lot, but I think this video is going to be very helpful for a lot of people. So let's get straight into it. So the first simple thing is, are you taking supply zones or are you taking demand zones? How do you know that? Well, you have to look at market structure, okay? If price is clearly trending to the upside, I don't care how good your supply zone is, okay? These demand zones are going to be where you buy. All your supply zones up here, boom, they're going to get ran through. You have a supply zone up here, boom, it's going to get ran through. If we're in a clear downtrend, guess what? All your demand zones, they're going to get broken. Your supply zones respected, demand zones broken. So you have to know the trend. If you're trading against the trend, like I said, it doesn't matter how good your zones are, they're going to get smoked. If you're trading with the trends, a lot more probability your zones are going to hold. So that's the first thing I wanted to get over with. Now, my people, what makes a good zone? Well, that requires three things, okay? Any order, one doesn't have more relevancy than the other. It's just these three things. The zone needs to have caused a break of structure. Please write this down and remember this. That's what I'm going to ask. The zone needs to be unmitigated, and the zone needs to have some form of liquidity, ideally a first tap within this zone. These three things here are what makes the zones great zones to use. They're going to be the best zones. If you don't understand this, let me show you. So let's focus on this uptrend here. We have a high and we candle close above it, giving us a break of structure. Now we have three demand zones here. We have this zone here and we have this zone here. Yo, Adil, why did you not count this zone here at the top? Well, this zone you can see got formed after we broke structure. This can't be responsible for breaking structure if we broke structure and then we formed the demand zone. So we only have two viable demand zones, this one here and this one here. So they are both responsible. They both happened before we broke structure. So these are both valid. Now the second and third ones is we need unmitigated and liquidity. Well, this first one here, can you see price has come and actually mitigated more than 50% of this zone? This to me is now not as good, okay? We don't have any more fresh orders to fill. What about this bottom one? Well, this bottom one, price is given a first tap, still very much barely into this zone. We have all of this unmitigated. And if I focus purely on the second zone, we can now see this first tap becomes what? Becomes liquidity. So this one is a lot better for me. It's unmitigated. We have liquidity in it. This is where I expect price to come down to here and then boom, rip to the upside. What about this downtrend here? Well, we have a clear break of structure to the downside. That's the first step. Now, what zones do we have? We have this area of supply here and we have this area of supply here. Which one would I favor? Which one is a good zone? Well, again, that's based on what? These three things here. Break of structure, they both happened before the break of structure, so they're both viable for this. Sweet. Unmitigated, these are both unmitigated. This price hasn't returned into yet, and this one price hasn't returned into yet. However, the third step is what? Liquidity. This one here, we have no swing highs, we have no liquidity above or within this zone. This zone here, we do have a beautiful first tap. Okay, we have this liquidity here. So price needs liquidity in order to continue with the trend, right? Here we have nothing to sweep in order for price to use that to continue lower. Here we have a first tap we can use to sweep, bang, and then continue lower. Think about if you were the market, where are you going to stop people out before you wanted to go lower? Here. There's nowhere else other way here. So for me, this zone isn't important. I delete that. I use this zone, liquidity sweep, tap, boom, we dump. You still don't understand? Let me show you on the charts. So let's start from the first step. We're clearly trending up. So guess what? Don't be looking at no supply zones, purely demand zones. We have a break of structure to the upside here. Nice. Now we look for zones. You can see we have a low, high, low, high, high. Sweet. We have this area of demand here. Now, is this a good zone or not? Well, this area of demand is responsible for this breaker structure? Sweet. Is it unmitigated? So since we broke this zone, has price come back and filled in all these orders yet? No, you can see this zone is still fresh. Price hasn't returned yet. This 50% is still untapped. Sweet. Liquidity. Can you see we broke it? We made a first tap into the zone and then we continued higher. So guess what? This here is a lovely area of liquidity. We now have all three steps. Now this is a good zone where I can expect price to come sweep this and then continue up with the trend and do what? Take out this high here. Let's see what happens. We sweep liquidity, we come into our zone and we boom out. Right, now let me show you a downtrend example. Again, if you're seeing this chart on a higher time frame and you're looking for longs, there's no saving you. No video is going to help, sorry. You have to be going with the trend. We can see the trend is clearly downward. So what we're looking for, areas of supply. So this one's interesting because you can see we have a break of structure to the downside here. And we have a break of structure to the downside here. So we have two areas of supply really. We have this area here and we have this area here. Now, based on what we said, which one's going to be a good zone to use? Which one's going to be a bad zone? Well, this one is responsible for breaking structure. That's valid. This one is responsible for breaking structure. That's valid. Unmitigated. Has price returned yet into this zone? No, that's valid. Has price returned yet into this zone? No, that's valid. The third one, liquidity. Have we got any liquidity resting below this zone? No, we do not. Have we got any liquidity resting below this zone? Yes, we have these beautiful triple equal highs. If you're shorting without waiting for these equal highs to get swept, that's not good. So now I know that this isn't a good zone compared to this one. This is the best zone because we have all three of those steps. We have that liquidity. Now I know price can sweep this, generate fuel in order to continue lower and do what? Take out this low here because we just continue with the trend. Let's see how this goes. There's the sweep. Tap into our supply zone. I'll play it a bit faster. Surprise, surprise. There's the dump. Everyone who entered early in the supply zone, smoked. I hope this video helped. I kept all the key details, kept it as short as possible. If you want to join the premium Discord where you can learn all the secret sauce, please feel free to click the link in the description below. We also have a completely free Discord you're more than welcome to join. If you've stayed to the end of the video, put in the comments supply and demand so I know you're a real one. Apart from that, appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you in the next video.